Hello and welcome. My name is Anastasia Zatula, if you don't know me, and today we're discussing betrayal. Painful subject for some, but still it needs to be addressed because I often see it in my surrounding, in my even clients, and I think it is time to kind of address this subject and to talk about it and actually heal it somehow. Now, because it's a painful subject, a lot of people don't want to listen to what I have to say. They want to stay in their pain and protect themselves from further pain or from more pain that might come with this. But it is unfortunate kind of behavior, and this behavior will not bring you to any kind of happiness. So I frankly don't like to talk about something like that, but I think I should make at least one video about betrayal, address it, give you the steps how to heal, and basically just stop talking about it and talk more about something amazing, like for example how to make a man a provider, how to get everything you want from your man. But I understand that people do have wounds, they have traumas, and those traumas need to be healed somehow. You can't be expecting everything from a man when you have this betrayal trauma that basically drags you down every time you meet somebody. So it has to be addressed, and it will be addressed today, even though it's not my favorite subject. You know, I'm very optimistic. I love to live in a maybe even a little pink world, delusional world, but I believe focus on good is much more important than focus on negativity. But anyways, let's talk about this. If this is not a subject for you, don't even watch, but still I will cover this subject. I will cover it for those people that went through this. Now, if you think that, well, Anastasia, you probably never were betrayed. No, I was betrayed quite a few times. It just, I was strong enough not to focus on this, to heal it and move on with that. I don't believe that betrayal could happen just because. Betrayal is always provoked, and if I behave in a particular way, the betrayal will never happen to me again, so to say. Now, you might not agree with me, you don't have to, but as a I'm a Reiki master, as an energy worker, I can assure you betrayal doesn't exist. Simply for that simply because in the world of energy there is nothing negative or positive, everything is absolutely neutral. And that's why betrayal in its own is non-existent concept. But it does happen, obviously, in our world. Obviously, some people get hurt. I was hurt. I don't, it's not like never happened to me, but I know why it happened to me. I was able to overcome that those situations. I was able to heal, and I don't look over my shoulder all the time. So I'm not expecting betrayal every single time I'm attached to somebody, you see. But I was able to overcome that that unfortunate those unfortunate events in my life, and you will also be able to. I will teach you, and you will be able to do it. You have to heal, you see. You can't live with the betrayal. It's the same as trust issues, abandonment traumas. It's like you're always a little crippled, you see. It's you can't move in life if you have these wounds that never heal, and you can technically move in life, but it won't be as bright and exciting experience as if you would never have these issues. Now, the betrayal usually so what I put the intention for this video to basically to heal and neutralize your energy. I'm going to charge this video with energy before I'll post it. So once you will listen, the energy, if you ever was betrayed, the energy will be neutralized. It will be up to you whether you will hold on to that or not. So when the energy is neutralized, you need to let it go, so it will stay neutralized, and it will help you to heal a little bit. I will help you to heal. If you will do what I will tell you, you will heal even much faster. So in the world of energy, there is nothing is positive or negative. Everything is neutral. positivity and negativity comes from our perception of that event. Now, everything basically just is. It's just a part of kind of life. Energy is neutral. Remember, it's like this gooey kind of substance that is surrounded around us, and we are basically a part of that substance with a little bit of consciousness. So you can imagine yourself as you hanging in the space of absolute emptiness, in the gooey kind of substance. This is you. This is me. So I'm sitting on a chair. My computer is standing on the desk, but everything is technically a gooey substance with I have some consciousness, and that consciousness creates all this, so I would stay safe and I would experience life. That's what really is happening. So this energy, this gooey substance, could not be positive or negative. It just is, and it's up to you whether it's going to be a good substance or a bad substance. But ideally, it cannot be something else. So as an energy worker, I assure you, nothing is positive or negative. It's all about the perception. And I understand, listen, when you don't expect and somebody just stab you in the back, I mean, it hurts, I wouldn't lie. But for the most part, it was something to be expected, so to say. And I will explain you why. So, because energy is not positive or negative, it just is, it has to bring itself to neutrality all the time. For example, you go out to party, you drink a lot, you dance a lot, you socialize a lot, you this social butterfly for so long. I mean, you overexhaust your energy. The next day you probably will be laying flat for a few hours. So if you have to work, I mean, you would have to kind of to boost your energy somehow, to go and and be able to operate somehow. When you're young, you can do that because you have naturally a lot of energy, and you can kind of go on for some time. But as you become older and your natural energy is not as vibrant, you won't be able to sustain yourself for too long. So you go very high with partying, and then you need to come back. So you basically go too low. Next day you're just wasting the whole day or whatever. You laying down, you eating some healthy, or you just drinking water because you're hangover, something like that, right? And then you will come back to neutrality. So energy always brings itself to neutrality, unless you're raising it gradually, like this, like I always say. So you can't be overindulging, drinking and partying, but you need to raise your energy to the level that this will not harm you. You see, that's why they say if you want to build the tolerance for alcohol, like me, I could not drink. I mean, I don't drink at all, but when I was drinking, it was like maximum 2 glasses of wine, because otherwise I will be sick, like really sick. So my friends used to tell me, you need to build a tolerance for alcohol, but I cannot, because in my family there is no tolerance. Neither from my mother's side nor from my father's side, nobody really drinks. So like our whole family doesn't have tolerance for drinking. But if I would put it as my purpose in life, I could have built some kind of tolerance for alcohol and for partying and for everything. It's not really my goal, but you can. So basically, if you want the partying and drinking be your new normal, you can raise it. But if you overindulge one day, you will drop. So the same with betrayal. You will be asking me, Anastasia, I mean, I was still on the same subject. Yeah, it is on the same subject. With betrayal, so what happens? You basically put a huge energetic pressure into somebody, and at one point you will have to drop so you can come back to neutrality. And you never drop from high to neutrality. You always drop lower because you went higher. You see, like they say, the higher you fly, the more you will fall, something like that. Now when you raise energy slowly like this, you don't really fall that much. You fall a little bit and then you raise even higher, like that. So this should be the goal. Now so you can technically put a lot of pressure on the person, but it has to be gradual pressure, little by little, like this. You could not put all the pressure at once, that the energy will have to neutralize each other. So don't blame yourself, don't blame the other party, don't blame anybody, blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Just remember, this is just a law of the in energetic world, and this is what happened. So what could be the betrayal? Now, I'm not talking about trust issues. Remember, trust issues were a different kind of subject. It is a trauma too, but that one is more like ongoing kind of, you live with that. Betrayal happens maybe once in a while or so, and then you have to deal with it, and then you need to move on. So if you will live with the constant betrayal, so for example, your husband is cheating on you non-stop, I mean, then you have a different issue. This is the codependency now. But usually when the betrayal just happened, and then for another few years it doesn't happen, it's like one, it just basically the energy had to adjust, and that's it. It doesn't mean that it will constantly be repeating itself. So what could be the betrayal? Obvious. I mean, you have a boyfriend or a husband, and suddenly he cheated on you, or he found somebody and he just prefers to be with that other person. Obviously that could happen. Or for example, you and your best friend are planning a hot girl summer, you know, you plan to go to Italy, you plan to go to south of France, you plan to be like to wear all these cute outfits and everything. You've been planning, you've been counting on this, you've been waiting days and hours until this happened, and then she chooses to go on a romantic getaway with her boyfriend, and basically you are just left there with with your suitcases and an itinerary that you will be doing on your own, and you feel like super betrayed because somebody chose somebody else over you. So these are the betrayals. Now, where the betrayals starting from? They usually start from childhood, as everything else. And again, in the child's mind, everything is much bigger, much more dramatic, and usually it is it happens like this. So for example, you have siblings, and then you decide that your parents prefer your siblings over you. Not always, but occasionally, so to say. And now you start catching when the parents basically would choose your sibling over you, or could be something like that, or could be if you are the only child, your parents would choose their partners or something like that over you. So somebody, and it's usually something unexpected. Why? Because you put too much pressure, like your mind puts too much pressure into that particular person. So you depending on your, like for example, you live with a single mother, right? And you're holding on for your life because you know without your mom you won't be able to survive. So she finds a boyfriend and she basically starts dating, and you feel like she's betraying you, which is obviously not. She's still with you, she still loves you, she still cares for you, but in the child's mind it's something big. So betrayals don't happen often. Usually it happens when the energy is too much, too much in one side, like it's oversaturated and one part needs to neutralize at one point. It doesn't happen often. If a betrayal happens in your life all the time, like somebody breaks your trust, this is an unhealthy pattern. This is codependency. This is different. You see, this is something like, for example, if your partner cheats on you, you basically believe that he loves you. It is different. It is not. It's already not betrayal. It is. It's codependency, and I will explain that in another video. It's betrayal happens rarely. At least it should. That's how it is. So you put in too much energy, pushing too much energy in one side, and basically that energy needs to somehow neutralize at one point. And then the betrayal happened, hop, the energy all goes to the other side and then neutralizes like this. No other way. Betrayal doesn't happen all the time. Again, if it happens to you every single month, then it's a pattern. That's already serious issue. So now I explained to you what is the betrayal. I gave you a couple examples. Now, in my life, I also was betrayed. And when I was betrayed, I mean, I was in such a low situation in my life, and I was completely depending on men. So it never really happened with women, with my friends. It did happen at work. I worked in corporate for so long. It did happen in my career. So in my career and in relationship with men. So it was always with the masculinity. Why? Because I was betraying the masculinity inside of me. If you didn't watch the video on healing masculinity, attract strong partner, I highly recommend you. My masculinity, because I'm highly feminine, was not very strong for obvious reasons. Even though my Mars is in the strongest sign in Capricorn for it, it still was not always so strong. So I basically I betray my masculinity betrays me, and I was betrayed. It was not was not the only time. I mean, I'm not afraid of betrayal. You see, yeah, it happened to me. Yeah, it was a huge kind of shock, a painful shock, I would say. Yeah, it took me some time to kind of recover, but I'm energy of water, so I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, it happens, you know. Once I start working with energy, I start learning what I was doing wrong in those situations, and it was always the same. I betrayed myself to the point that somebody else betrays me. I pushed so much energy into outside world that at one point it had to basically almost slap me, so I would kind of get the energy back into me, like that. For example, if you're with the man and your whole life depends on him, your entertainment, your happiness, your pleasure depends on this person, at one point, you know, you will see that you could not depend for everything on that person. At one point, you will be pushed to come back to yourself and look for that in you. Usually when a man betrays you, you basically come back to yourself and you start feeling sorry for yourself, you start comforting yourself, you get your attention from that man, and you're supposed to kind of heal yourself, and then, you know, hopefully he will come and start healing you as well. But it obviously happens because somebody puts too much emphasis into another person. Like putting all your eggs in one basket. This is what it is. When you put everything, like if you put all your energy into another person, there's too much pressure, you see. Those eggs could break at any moment, and then what are you going to do? So it has nothing really to do with your relationship, with your behavior. No, it does have to do with your behavior, but it doesn't, you know, like some people think, start comparing themselves to other women, and it has nothing to do with you comparing. I saw in my life, actually have a friend, he left his beautiful model wife, like really beautiful, really young, really everything, for a woman that's like, you know, I mean, I don't want to be hard on my own people, but she's not only completely unsuccessful, she doesn't much look after herself. She's just kind of enjoying her simple, quiet life, and he left his beautiful, successful woman for her. Why? Because that beautiful, successful woman was putting too much pressure into him. She was basically making herself beautiful for just to be with him, and at one point he couldn't handle that no more. Now the other woman, she knows that he's basically a gift from God to her, and she's just enjoying every moment that he's with her. Now, I don't know how long it will last. Maybe she will become too comfortable and will start putting all her hopes in him as well. But at this moment, she's not. So don't think that a man, like I remember when I was growing up, there was this kind of tendency to think that a man after a certain age chooses a younger partners, that it's like inevitable. He will, any man will go and choose another, like a younger partner for himself. It has really nothing to do with age, with appearance for the most part. Usually men choose sometimes younger women because they're more vibrant, their energy is more lighter, they enjoy life, you know, they are not heavy like energetically. So that's basically it. But you can stay like this till you are 18. You will be attracting young men into your life, and they will be happy with you. It has nothing to do with age, I guarantee you that. So this is what happens, and that's how the betrayal happens. So what happens? You basically, why do you betray yourself? It's because your goal in life, your higher self goal, is to learn how to feel security, love, pleasure, in like all these feelings that you are looking at others, you need to find them in yourself. Now when you could not do that, your higher self will push you back to you once, twice, third time. If you are not learning your lesson, then something like a huge betrayal will happen, because at one point you will need to get back to yourself and learn how to live with yourself. You see, betrayal don't happen right away. Usually there are some kind of signs. For example, like it was with me. I was betrayed by a man. I was in New York, and he was very successful. He had a few restaurants, and I loved to go every Saturday. I was living the whole week waiting for that Saturday to happen so I can go to one of his places, spend time with him, and spend time in the in one of his fancy places. And basically, I was putting so much pressure because my whole existence, my whole week, my entertainment for that week depended on him, and on his place of business, right? So I was very scared that if he would, for example, sometimes when there were parties or something, he wouldn't call me, he wouldn't ask me to come because he's busy, obviously, and I would be like devastated, like I wasted the whole week for nothing, like I don't get my entertainment at the end of the week, which was sick, really. But still, it was part of my life. I'm not ashamed to admit it, and that part of my life really taught me a lot. So because I was how did I know? There was signs, obviously. He didn't betrayed me right away. I mean, I was with him for a few years. So what happened? I started getting signs. Signs, for example, I would call him on Friday or text him, "Hey, I'll meet. Am I going to see you tomorrow? Am I coming to the place?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know." And I would start getting, instead of me making other plans, I would start like getting anxious and writing to him, "Hey, I haven't seen you in so long, blah, blah, blah," like all this drama. So there was signs. It's not like it happened. So my higher self and the universe was showing me, "Anastasia, too much energy into another person." But at that time, I didn't know none of this. There was no me or somebody else who would tell me that. So I basically had to I was just trying to control outside and fighting outside to get some kind of resolution. Now, ideally, I should have been, okay, so if our plans are not set, so let me make other plans. At that time, I already had some friends in New York, so I could have easily make some kind of other arrangements, or I could have even just go by myself. I lived in such a place where there was like restaurants and bars, and like the whole 2 streets were filled up with them, and it's a nice area, so it's not like it was unsafe or something. So I could have found the entertainment, happiness, and all that I was looking in him by myself. So when he cheated on me, I mean, at that time it was like already like a slap in the face. I could not avoid it no more. I could not be. If I would stay with him even after he cheated on me, I mean, that would be like I don't know, like how would I be living with that, So I basically, at that moment, it's like I woke up, and I remember that moment. I remember I was sitting in his restaurant. I knew that he cheated on me. I knew because I saw like the proof, and he confirmed that kind of, and I'm like, and now what I'm supposed to do now? I'm supposed to break up with him. I'm not supposed to be coming to his restaurants. And my only concern at that moment was, damn, so now I wouldn't be having entertainment at all. Like, instead of me thinking, how could you allow something like this in your life? My only concern was again for the entertainment. So it was a wake-up call for me. This is like the biggest one. Obviously, I had another one. I had a couple more like this. Also, I mean, there was signs that I was betraying myself. There were huge signs, honestly. But I let it slide, and I didn't take in consideration that I need to do something about it. So if you were betrayed, it's not another person's fault. It's your wake-up call, so to say, that you are betraying yourself somewhere. I will give you another example. Some people are betrayed at work. For example, a hugest example. So I was working, and I was working in corporate world, as you know, and in corporate world you're not free to just do whatever you want to do. I mean, at one point you are somewhat free, but for the most part there are certain rules. So for me, the biggest slap and betrayal in my life was when I asked for vacation, so some days off, and my superior basically told me, you don't have kids, why would you need days off? And to my surprise, it was so shocking. She took she took days off when I requested them. I'm telling you now, and I still have this little. The funny thing is, we're absolutely cool with her, and you know, we socialize. But it was like a huge slap in my face. Like I found, you know, it was so funny even to speak right now that because I don't have kids, I was not allowed to have a vacation. It was funny. The thing is that I was betraying myself for some time, and it was already like a last drop for the most part. So this is how it could be. Or for example, your boss is asking you to stay longer. I mean, you know, maybe there are some places where you can just work overtime and you just could not tell them no. Again, you betraying yourself. You don't value your time. The boss doesn't value your time. This is just a wake-up call for you to kind of start paying attention to what you feel about yourself and how you feel about yourself. It is not about blaming other person. You blaming other person and talking about how bad they are will not help you. They are only showing you that you need to heal. Why I have a good relationship with all the people that wronged me, so to say, is because I was able to neutralize the energy, and I was able to learn from it. And they felt very guilty after they came, and they, you know, kind of, even this my superior, my boss, she told me a few times, she's like, I can't believe you can put aside you know, the like a business aspect, and you know, and you don't hold the anger, because anger will not do you nothing. You just need to learn from it and move on, and that's what it is. So basically this is the betrayal that could have happened to you. I mean, you could have a betrayal in the family, for example. For example, your parents are disinherited you, gave your brothers and sisters millions of dollars, and you are just left with nothing, and you feel like, you know, like this. And probably the same thing, probably you were betraying yourself somewhere. Probably you were like, I remember because I worked in finances, I saw things like this, and I remember this family, it was hilarious. So one of the sons, he was taking care of his parents, and he was making money, he was taking care of them. He was like the smarter in the family, you know. He was like doing everything, judging his brothers and sisters. He was like, they are selfish, they never do nothing. And it was so funny because his parents passed away and they didn't leave him nothing at all. Why they didn't? So his father passed away first, and his mom basically explained it like this. So the father didn't leave him nothing, and the mom only had like a small part of something. She had only like income from the trust. And the mom said, well, you're doing good, you don't need nothing, you know, your brothers and sisters are need help more than you do. It was funny because he was betraying. He didn't really care, he didn't really wanted to care for the parents, but he was, because he felt like he's such an amazing person. And it sounds funny to me, but at that time it was very dramatic, and he felt very very bad, and he wanted to take this to court. He wanted to argue this agreement, but he couldn't because it's a will. So if it would be a trust, he could, but the will, it's basically you can't really you can't argue the will. Will is basically set in stone, so to say. All right, so what to do now? You realize that you were betrayed. Now you need to do something. You need to heal from it. You need to move on from this. So find out, first of all, why did it happen to you, and don't tell me you didn't expect it, because I would never believe you. Even when I was betrayed, I was kind of somewhat expecting it. Why? I will tell you why. Because at that moment, my attention was so much more in that person. My whole existence was in that person's kind of aura. I had so much pressure on that other person. A man that didn't betray me, that never cheated on me, usually I was never putting that much pressure on them. They were just man, and we had good relationship. That was it. But man that they put a lot of pressure, at one point they basically cheated on me. So if a man, for example, if you have a man and he is the source of your happiness, if you're basically waiting for him to come to, so you can feel good, if you're waiting for him to go somewhere, if you don't go nowhere without him, if you have friends that you could not live without them, that you need them constantly in your life, if you have any of people like this, if you need your parents constantly because you need their validation and support even though you're a grown-up person, wait for the betrayal to happen. It's like it's mass. You put in too much pressure into one, basically into another living being. You can't do that. You see, it has to come back to you. That pressure has to come back somehow. And because you put in the pressure, so it's not like an easy energy exchange. It's pressure. The pressure has to snap back. So it will be a pressure onto you, kind of. It's a it's a normal thing. So it will be. Now, why did it happen to you? You need to find out. Don't tell me, well, because he's a womanizer and he cheats on everybody. No, there is a reason you were with him. I mean, there must be something good with him, and it didn't happen just because. Find the reason. Don't wrong the other person. Find the reason. I mean, what is that you were hoping and counting on in that person? For example, maybe you are so afraid to lose somebody because your well-being depends on that person. Maybe the other person supports you completely, so you could not lose him because he's supporting you, kind of. You need to find the reason. So find the reason. Now, you need to also find where you were betraying yourself at that moment. For example, I can tell you, imagine you're living with the guy and you're cooking for him every day and you hate cooking, like you really don't like this, but you're cooking because you believe in some kind of particular standards that a woman should cook or something like that. And or you work double shift because your boss taken your kindness for your weakness and you don't want to work. Or maybe your friends constantly asking you to babysit their kids and you don't want to babysit. I mean, you must be betraying yourself somewhere. You see, you wouldn't be looking for pleasure in others or for validation in others if you would be true to yourself. So if you would do everything in life as you like, you wouldn't be betrayed because you wouldn't be looking for pleasure in others. If I'm living my life as I want, I'm completely satisfied, I'm happy, I'm in pleasure, I'm socializing with other people, I'm enjoying their company, instead of me. So if I'm enjoying their company, I wouldn't be betrayed. Now, if I'm living a somewhat miserable, let's say, marriage, right, I need to find that happiness in somebody else. So I'm depending on my friends for that happiness. I'm depending so much on my friends for their happiness that at one point it has to snap. You see, now if I would be somewhat satisfied in my marriage or in my relationship, I wouldn't be depending on my friends for the happiness or satisfaction, and it would not snap at me like this. So you need to find where you're betraying yourself. Now, after that, you need to feel neutral gratitude for the person that showed you that you are betraying yourself. So if a man cheated on you, you basically need to completely feel neutral and somewhat thankful, like, you know what, thank you for showing me that I forgot about myself, thank you for showing me that I so let myself go so much that I don't even enjoy my company, like this. Don't be angry with the person. I mean, you don't need to tell them that in their face. You need to feel like this. You need to feel like, yeah. Like, I remember when I started working with energy and I had to heal all these issues because I obviously wanted to have a good relationship. I wanted to have a healthy relationship with men. I was sitting like this and I was writing every single time I was betrayed somewhat, and I basically had to feel neutrally positive towards those people and somewhat thankful that they were showing me something that I completely refused to see. That's how it is, you know. When men betrayed me, when they cheated on me, I was at such a low point in my life that I would cheat on myself gladly. I couldn't escape myself, obviously. So I'm grateful that it showed me, and I had to come back to myself and resolve those issues in me. We could not avoid ourselves. We need to learn how to enjoy our existence, our body, our appearance, our emotional state. We need to learn how to cope with it, how to deal with it, how to bring the best in us, and how to enjoy this presence that we have in life. Nobody is better than us. The man is not a gift from God. He is just a reflection of our masculinity. Don't put him on a pedestal. That's another thing. When you put a man on a pedestal, he treats you like a fan. Lower him to your kind of level. You're the queen, he's the king. Don't put him down, because no queen wants to be with who is not a king, right? But also don't put him above you. You guys need to be even. So you need to feel gratitude. It doesn't have to be, oh my God, thank you very much. It has to be neutral gratitude, like, okay, yeah, I guess Anastasia, you're right. This guy showed me I was betraying myself for some time now. So yeah, I'm grateful to you for, not to me, to the guy. I'm grateful, let's say his name is Mark. I'm grateful, Mark, for showing me, that I was betraying myself. I'm grateful. Like this. You don't have to tell him that, just feel it like this. It has to be neutral gratitude. This way you will neutralize the energy that's existing right now. It wouldn't be as heavy. I don't ask you to forget and forgive and go back to him. I want you to heal yourself first. Yeah, you can go back to him. I mean, I socialize with people that betrayed me. I don't have a relationship with them, but I'm cool with talking to them, so I have no problem really. If you love a man, I have a man that I would go back after what he did, because I know he regretted it. I know that we had a great connection, but I really, really let myself down at that moment. So I would have go back to him, but at that moment I was not able to neutralize the energy fast enough, and we couldn't. I don't think I would have made it. But right now, I think with what I know, I would have neutralized that energy fast, and I would get myself back to where I was. Hi. Remember, you met a person on a particular level. If you start dropping, you get in this, and the person is strong enough not to drop with you. You have an energetic disbalance. At one point, you will have to separate. It doesn't have to be through betrayal, but make sure that you always stay on the same energetic level. It's just normal. Or if, for example, your energy will go up and he still stay on the same level, you will start looking around and you will start pulling him up. You see, it is normal. So feel the neutrality, and then what you need to do, you need to stop betraying yourself. When the situation with the vacation happened to me, that my boss didn't allow me to take a vacation, this is what I did. I knew I was betraying myself. I knew I was not giving myself what I wanted at the time. So as soon as she came back from vacation, I requested 3 vacations in a row. I was so firm with myself. I was so firm with her that I was ready to leave the company if I wouldn't get those vacations. So I stopped betraying myself. I was not asking. I was at that moment given a notice that I will be absent, like that. And I was firm, it was not maybe not. I already made plans. If she would say no, I would quit. So you have to stop betraying yourself. When a man, it's easy with the man, because when a man cheats on you, you basically like, bye, I don't want to talk to you no more. But when it happens in other areas of your life, you kind of lenient, you're, well, maybe I will give another chance, maybe this or maybe not, but you need to stop betraying yourself. So let's imagine you're cooking breakfast every day for your husband, and he is not completely not appreciative. He's not eating the breakfast. He's not he like he doesn't really care whether you cook or not. Stop cooking. I mean, what are you still cooking for? I mean, my mom, for example, since I was little, my mom never cooked breakfast. We had Italian breakfast, some cookies and coffee or tea or something like that. I mean, when we were little, we used to drink tea, but then coffee. And I couldn't understand why, because my father from a family where they eat like a healthy breakfast, like a really big breakfast. And apparently this is what happened. When my parents first got married, my mom was cooking for him and he never ate it. So after months of cooking and the food was not touched, my mom stopped cooking forever. Like she was still cooking lunch and dinner, but the breakfast was finished, like it was done. But my parents are energy of air. There is no talk of betrayal for energy of air, energy of fire. This is something I need to mention. Usually it's feminine people that get betrayed. So it's usually energy of water, energy of earth. Why? Because those people are very empathetic, they get attached easily. So these are people that get betrayed. Energy of masculine energy, usually the ones that are betraying, or because this just happens to them, they don't see much like a big deal out of it. So, but they don't get betrayed because they usually very very selfish, which is good, or self-centered, I should say. So you need to stop betraying yourself. Stop betraying yourself at the moment. How do you know you're betraying yourself? You feel bad when you're doing something. Your friend is asking you to babysit, and you had plans to watch Netflix that evening, and now you're like, why do I need to go there? It's cold, it's raining, I don't want to go, but still you're dragging yourself. You could tell your friends, hey, I'm sorry, I have other plans, That's just it. Don't feel bad about this. I mean, I'm sure she has other options. You are not her only resource. So stop betraying yourself right away. If your whole happiness depends on a man, I mean, find where will you get happiness from now on. You could not be looking for work on your heart chakra, work on your energy, do something, work with me if you have to, but you could not depend on another person for anything at all. You can have certain standards and expectations, but depending is a very weak position, you see. It makes you very vulnerable in a bad way, especially when you are depending on happiness and pleasure from a man. I mean, this is something that you're supposed to provide, not him. So it's kind of strange. Then you need to give what you expect. This is exactly what I just said. Give what you need so much to yourself. So instead of you expecting it from others, so when I was expecting my boss to understand that I need a vacation and give me those days off and feel kind of for me, I should have give it to myself. I should have stopped working that hard, I mean, I live in United States. It's not that hard to pick up the phone and say, hey, I don't feel well, I need to take a couple days off. It's easy like that. Instead, I put pressure on her to approve those days for I don't know for what reason. That's why I'm not working corporate now, because my work in corporate would be so much different right now. So if it's at your work, if it's with your let's say your friend is asking you to babysit, what are you looking for with babysitting? Are you looking for her absolute gratitude, her telling you how great you are, something like that? I mean, give it to yourself. Tell yourself, I am great. Whether I will babysit or not, I am great. If you're looking for pleasure in company with the man, I mean, listen, give it to yourself. You have to give it to yourself. You can't give pleasure if you don't know pleasure. So whatever it is for you, I mean, buy yourself toys or find yourself other men that you can flirt with. It's not you could not depend on another person. So give it to. Ideally, you should give it to yourself without any kind of outside substitution. But if it's hard for you right now to give yourself, to give just yourself, then find the outside substitution for something. So, or for example, if you go out with the friend and she's often breaking your trust, find other friends. I mean, not that difficult. okay, so I mentioned this, but you need to stay grateful to the person for showing you how badly you treat yourself. You need to continue staying in gratitude. You see, it's not one-time thing and then you'll be like, what what a jerk. No, you continue kind of feeling gratitude no matter what. Trust me, I know it's hard. But the people that wronged me, I mean, they're still in my life, and they make it worse being in my life right now. I'm telling you, especially men, because they feel so guilty. They continue treating me well. They treat me well now than when they were treating me before. Now, after you kind of after you feel neutralize the energy and feel grateful to the person for showing you, you need to put a strong intention. If you didn't watch the video about solar plexus, watch it. But you need to collect all the energy in your solar plexus. I don't think you see it, but it's in solar plexus. You collect all the energy here and you put a strong intention, something like, from now on, I'm faithful to myself. If something doesn't work for me, I'm not doing this, like that. So from now on, I'm not cooking breakfast no more, like that. You have to be that strong. You see, it's like you basically working with yourself, you know. You will betraying yourself. Now you're telling yourself, I'm going to love you, I'm going to be faithful to you, and that's just it. Other people just helping you develop yourself, and it has nothing to do with them. Then you need to always have another plan for your life. So you could not depend on another person. Why I was betrayed at my work is because I thought I couldn't get another job. Funny thing is, I was constantly recruited. My numbers were great. So the rival companies were constantly trying to recruit me. I was always going on interviews. I always had offers. Not sure where the fear was coming from. It's not like it was the only company. I mean, I lived in New York. There's so many financial companies, but I had this fear that I would need to change, that I would need to do something new, that this and this, you know, it was driving me crazy. So I was afraid to lose this job. That's why I was doing certain things that I didn't want to do. Now, the same could be with the man. You're afraid to lose him, so you do something that doesn't work for you. For example, I have a friend that does certain things in bed that doesn't make her comfortable, but she does it because she's afraid to lose the guy. And you know what? She will lose him. I told her that, and she knows that, because she betrayed herself. And he's pushing her further and further and further. I'm not going to get into details, but she basically walks on a razor blade right now, and she knows that, but she could not do nothing with so she told me, I'm going to be your client soon, and I said, hopefully not. I mean, the good thing is she realizes that she's doing something wrong. So have another plan in your life. When I remember how I told you I put an intention not to ever work in corporate, and I start looking maybe to get into some kind of business, maybe do more investments, maybe, you know, like I was speculating. I was trying to find something else, something that would give me kind of like a plan B. I stopped betraying myself at work. I never stayed, past a particular time. I obviously always honored my days off. I was never answering emails on my days off. I mean, I was really strict with my time off. So have a particular plan and time. If your man is betraying you and you see that something is off, if he is not giving you what you need, the pleasure, the love, then find how you're going to get it. It's either you will get it from yourself, what you should do, or if your man is not taking you out on dinners and you really love the social outing, you like the scene, you like to dress up, then find yourself new admirers, or maybe friends, or somebody, or some kind of group that loves to. I remember I was in this group on Facebook. They basically explore New York restaurants, so they go to all the new places, and I don't know, as a group. So something like that. I mean, you could not depend on another person for anything in your life. You have to have a plan B. Once you will have plan B, you wouldn't put all that pressure in one person or one situation. Another step that I would say is you need to really focus on yourself. Betrayal happens when you are more focused on others than on yourself. Betrayal is always to yourself first. Remember this. Betrayal is always to yourself. So it's not you betray yourself inside. The outside world basically showed you. You're betraying yourself. You might never know that you're betraying yourself if nobody outside will show you. So you need to make sure you are faithful to yourself. Again, this is my body, and thankfully I love my body, but it's not going to change. This is me, and I will have to live with myself, and I will have to experience the world with myself. Might as well love myself. Might as well accept myself. Might as well learn how to get everything I want, by myself. Kind of doesn't mean that I have to live like a monk on a mountain in Himalayas. I don't need to. But I don't need to depend on others for anything. Again, doesn't mean that others will not give me. They will give me. The man will give me. My friends will give me. My family will give me the love and everything. Everybody will give me. My clients will give me the appreciation and respect that, everybody gives me this, but I do not depend on this. I already respect myself, appreciate myself. I already love myself. I already give myself pleasure. I already give myself security. I already give myself all that. Now, because I'm giving it all myself, others are giving that to me as well. You see, and this is that's basically what you need to do. Look at the betrayal as not an unfortunate situation, but more like a situation that was inevitable, that it had to happen, because you already went so down the rabbit hole that you had to come back somehow. Something had to push you back to yourself, and this situation brought you back to yourself. What I ask you is don't indulge yourself in feeling bad for yourself, feeling sorry for yourself, talking to friends all the time, about look how bad he is, how dared he to do this. That would not help you. You basically just keep the focus on the situation that happened, and you're not healing. You're basically just rerunning the same situation again and again and again. You keeping your wound open for no reason. And honestly, I always tell, don't discuss with your friends anything. That's why when I tell in the live what your friends tell about you, the relationship with friends, I tell you, don't discuss with your friends your problems. Don't listen to their problems, because you're not helping each other. You're just putting more energy into a situation that doesn't need that needs to be healed and forgotten and moved on from. So don't keep discussing the same situation on and on and on. Heal from it. Learn from it, heal from it, and move on like that. That's the only way. This is the masculine way, how it's supposed to be. A feminine way, accept and forgive. Masculine way, heal and move on. That's what it is. Okay, that's it. So to sum it up, betrayal doesn't exist in the world of energy. It's oversaturated energy in somewhere outside of you that needs to come back to you. And because it's so tensed and oversaturated, it has like this. It's almost charged, right? So it comes back really painful because it's so charged. It always will come back, so it will neutralize naturally. You see, it's like when there is a huge draft, and then like for a couple months, and after a couple months there is like a huge rain or something, or storm. It has to neutralize itself somehow. So the betrayal doesn't happen all the time. It happens rarely. It needs to take time to saturate that energy in that place. Doesn't happen overnight. Doesn't happen all the time either. Now, it is always a betrayal to yourself. So you betrayed yourself somewhere, and the other person showed you, look, Anastasia, you betraying yourself, or look, whoever, you betraying yourself. I'm just showing you. Come back to yourself. Your higher self will help you to come back, whether you want it or not. Your goal in life is to learn how to live with yourself, how to provide yourself security, love, pleasure, how to experience life on your own, and enjoying people without having high expectations for them. You can have standards and expectations, but you could not depend on them. I have standards for men. I obviously have that if I'm going out with the man, he's paying. That's just a normal thing. But I do have money. So if he wouldn't be able to pay, I will cover myself. Doesn't mean I will see him again, but I have no pressure You see, if I wouldn't have money, I would be sitting there and shaking, you know, what if he wouldn't pay, then what? Am I going to wash the dishes? But I don't have any pressure because I have money, and that's why I don't have to pay, because I don't put that much pressure. So that's how betrayal happens. It doesn't have to happen only with a man. Usually it happens with the man most often, but it could be at work, it could be with friends, it could be with the family, anyhow. Now, to heal from the betrayal, you need to admit to yourself that it happened, and it was teaching you something. You need to find where you were betraying yourself. You have to, you know, you could be telling me, like I have a couple clients, no, I didn't do nothing wrong, I was a perfect wife, I don't know how this happened. Come on, you know, come on. You never seen that it's happening. I mean, I remember this woman, she was not my client, she was actually a professional, my professional tutor, so to say. Had nothing to do with energy or anything, and at one point we had a conversation. She said, I haven't seen it coming, you know, my husband after 30 years just left me for another woman, a woman that she knows. It's not somebody young and more beautiful, but a woman that's living close by. And she's like, I never expected it, you know. And I knew that she's probably lying to herself, because it doesn't happen like this. And she's like, I was so broken because you know, because all my whole life was in that man. And when she said it, I'm like, really? How can your whole life been in another person? It's just impossible. So anyways, that's what it could happen like this. So you need to accept that it happened. You need to know where you were betraying yourself. You need to feel neutral gratitude towards the person. You need to stop betraying yourself where you were betraying yourself. So if you depend on somebody to go out and experience restaurants, then you need to start going yourself and experience restaurants, or you can go with other friends or something like that. You need to stop betraying yourself. You could not depend on others for any kind of experience. You can you can share the experience with another person, but you could not depend on them. Give everything that you need to yourself, obviously, that's just what I said. Keep constant gratitude, light gratitude. Don't be like over indulging another person in gratitude. Obviously have standards, you know. You can't just, okay, so yeah, thank you for showing me that I was betraying myself, you can come back now. No, you obviously have standards. I mean, don't hold a grudge, but maybe, you know, maybe the person should do for hurting you a little bit. Like I have this client, she has a whole list of fines for any kind of so if a guy is not texting her for 2 days, he has to buy her flowers. If he cancels an appointment on her, he has to buy her present within like $1,000, and like she has a whole list, and her man is not against it. So you need to put a strong intention that you will be faithful to yourself. You have to have a plan in your life, despite other people. So if you are sitting and waiting for a man to marry you, you're betraying yourself. You know, decide that you're going to marry this guy or another guy, and hopefully it will be this guy. If not, then you will find another one. But just have an intention, because if you will have too much pressure on him, then he will not propose. As I was telling you in the video, get your man to propose fast. And focus on yourself. Listen, when your life is thriving, when you are diverse, when your life is just when you're doing different things, when you have all 4 roles developed evenly, I mean, nobody will betray you, because people don't have that power to betray you. So make sure that your life is balanced like this. Okay, that's it on this subject. I hope I'm sure it's helpful. It was helpful to me when I was told, and I did my homework. Send it to anybody who is suffering from betrayal right now and doesn't know how to pull themselves from this swamp, and use it yourself, and be mindful. Again, people don't betray us. They only show that we're betraying ourselves. Don't blame them. blame yourself for being not loyal to yourself. And if you have questions, please do ask. Hopefully I covered all possible betrayals. I mean, there are more, obviously. There is children and parents kind of relationship, again, when the parent put in too much emphasis on the child, and then the child is like, I have a friend, he put so much like, he wanted his son to be a doctor. Like, he put everything he could into his education, and he chose not to be a doctor. He became an IT something, and his father was so ashamed of his son, you know, his only son. He was like so embarrassed, he wouldn't even mention him to people. And when he accepted him, he actually, his life, you know, the life of the son became somewhat better, and he became actually a very successful IT specialist in his field, I guess. So that's basically it. You are only betraying yourself, and other people showing you. All right, so send it to whoever you think could be beneficial. If you have questions, do ask, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening. Please do like, comment, follow me for more subjects like this. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your day.